Well, hello, everybody. We're so
Hi,
glad.
everybody.
Yeah, Michael and John here, Sketcher and Scribe. Let me see. How does this work on the camera? Yeah, Sketcher and Scribe. Um, and we're so glad to be back on here to talk to you. We've got some updates for you, and we want to let you know what's been going on. And we so appreciate the concern and the prayers and the thoughtfulness that so many of you have expressed toward each of us, both of us, and it's been kind and it's been warm and it's meant a lot to us. Um, Michael and I want to give you an update on where the Art Song and Story Palace is and where we are as the co-creators and as the artisans that we are. And that's the purpose of this video today. We had mentioned we were going to come back in the fall. We had hoped to come back with season 2 programming for the Art Song and Story, but we both had some unexpected developments having to do with our age and stage and season of life. And so, these were some of the risks that were posed, right? Because when Mike and I did Pappyland, it was over 30 years ago. And to have a chance to do the Art Song and Story 30 years later, well, there was bound to be some differences. And boy, we've discovered what some of those differences are. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike just to be able to greet you guys. And Michael, he'll share with you some of the things he's been going through lately. And then I'll share with you some of the things I've been going through. And then we're going to tell you what it means in terms of the Art Song and Story Palace, Michael's artwork, my writing, and how we're going to go forward and what that might mean for you. And we're really looking forward to sharing that. But let's start with a little catch up. So Mike, go ahead and to whatever degree you want to share with them what's been going on and where you've been at.
Well, first of all, I'd like to share my overwhelming appreciation to all of you fans out there who supported the Art Song Story Palace, as well as other projects that John and I worked on, as Pappyland, as you know. And I really am so appreciative of that. I respect all of you out there. I love you all. You've been so supportive during all these projects that we've completed, these projects, and I just can't tell you how appreciative I am. And lately I've been going through some medical issues, which is natural as you get older. Nobody escapes it. And I was playing table tennis at a recreation club not too long ago, and I felt faint, and I passed out. And it was a very traumatic experience. I hit my nose. It's healed now, but I had a big gash on my nose. It was awful. Anyways, I went to the VA, being a Vietnam veteran. I went to the VA, and they diagnosed my condition. They called it ventricular arrhythmia. And what that means is the bottom chamber of my heart is not pumping at full capacity. And so that causes me to not have enough blood flow, which causes me to faint and pass out. And if I'm not shocked back to normalcy, you could die. So it's a very traumatic, medical condition that I have, and something I have to live with. I've had a heart condition since 1997. I had bypass surgery way back when I was doing Pappy. Actually, we were kind of like,
Yeah.
pretty close in the middle of it. And anyways, so here I am now, and I'm slowing down. I mean, not by choice, believe me. I love to keep busy. I'm a very creative person, as John is, and it's slowing down is like very difficult for us. It's like no, you can't do. We got to keep busy. Anyways, but I'm forced to do it at a better pace now. So my energy level is not as it was. So I'm taking my time. I'm just doing some projects right now. We just finished the Art Song and Story Palace, which was a very large endeavor for us, and it was fun. It was a tremendous journey, an adventure that we had. But right now, I'm just kind of like settling down in my life right now, and just trying to do the things that I like, and that means a little bit of everything. The Art Song Story Palace, whatever it is, paintings. I'm working on an oil painting right now. I haven't even started it, and I have to get motivated to do that. So I'm staying creative, but yeah, that's where my journey is right now.
Thanks for sharing that, Mike. So,
My pleasure.
uh, you know, I want to mention that when Michael and I first started this project, which was like 34 years or something after Pappyland, and we were so blessed and amazed and surprised and delighted that we even had the opportunity to do it. Um, but we did, and we went all in. And at the very beginning of the trip, of the journey, we took a trip to England to meet with other children's filmmakers and industry leaders in television distribution for kids programming and stuff. And in the course of that trip, we on one particular day, we had got lost in the town that we were in, trying to get to some meetings that we had. And this particular town in northern England, it was Sheffield, England. It was very hilly, and it was a really hot day. And we walked for probably a couple of hours up and down hills, and honestly, it was a little too much for both of us. And as a direct result of that, or probably accelerated something that would have happened anyway, but when we both flew back home to the States, we only flew back together for part of the legs, and then our planes, we took different planes because we had different destinations. I was going to Maine, he was going to Florida. When I got to the airport in Dublin, Ireland, and I got off the plane to switch planes, I was going down the stairs, and as I was going down the stairs, all of a sudden my left leg, with no forewarning, just gave out, and I would have completely wiped out, fallen, and could have really gotten hurt, except the handrail was right there and kept me from going down the stairs. But I was shocked. I had no idea what had happened because the leg just completely gave out. And then immediately following that, I just had a big, severe, sharp pain in my left hip. I had no idea what had happened. I just figured, oh, we probably overdid it. So I limped, but I was able to walk, and I didn't think much of it other than we overdid it. I probably got to get some rest when we get home. Well, Michael had an incident as well when he got home to the Orlando airport.
Yeah.
He had an incident, and I'm going to let him relay that to you. And this was at the very outset of the Art Song and Story Palace. This is while we were still looking for studio space, still acquiring equipment, still planning the episodes and refining the concept and everything. So this was very early on.
Yeah.
So Mike, why don't you share what happened when you got to Orlando?
So when we left England and I got home, I was in the Orlando airport, and that's when the first episode. Now I mentioned the second episode to you initially when I first started speaking. That was the second event. Now the first event happened when I was in the Orlando airport, and I was all set to go to my shuttle, and I was walking through through the airport there, headed towards my shuttle, and I felt faint again, or for the first time. And I said, what is this? Why am I feeling so faint? Because we had just spent 4 or 5 days in England, and and we did a lot of walking, and it was very energetic. And so I figured, well, what could be the problem now? I mean, here I am, I'm home, and I made the flight. Anyways, I fainted again because of the same situation, which I didn't really know about at the time.
Right.
And so I fainted, and it took a passerby to stop and give me CPR. And the CPR lasted for about 5 minutes, and they couldn't revive me. I was literally pretty much dead. And so I guess the paramedics came, and they had that device for doing the paddles, and they put the paddles on me, and they gave me a shot twice. It took me 2 shots to get me back to earth here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that was a very traumatic situation. And I have to interject a little bit of humor here. When we were in England, the reason why we were doing a lot of walking is because they kept on telling John, it's this way. This is the way we have to go. So let's go down this. There's the road. Let's go. No, John said, no, I don't think that it's not that way. I go, no, John, it's that way. Let's do it. So we got lost because I had given him all the wrong directions. And so we added about 10 miles to our walk, which should have taken us 15 minutes, 45 minutes walking.
Yeah.
And so we got a lot, and all this stemmed from this trip. It's so funny that he's
Yeah.
talking about his hip or his knee, or your hip, John, was it?
Yeah, as I have. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm talking about my heart issues, and it all stemmed before we even started the Art Song and Story Palace. But we managed to finish the project, and here we are.
Part of Michael is brilliant, and he's a genius. He's a genius artist. And I don't say that just as his friend, as a biased associate. I say it as a witness of all the things I've seen him make and create. over close to 40 years now. He's just brilliant.
Thank you.
But there's a price, there's a cost for that brilliance. And that is half of his brain, the one that's has to do with maps. It doesn't work because his whole brain works on the creative side. So he can paint, draw, build, sculpt, anything and everything. But his sense of direction is actually the opposite
It's bad.
of what's true. So every time we
It's
needed to
bad.
go
In other
left,
words, it's bad.
he insisted we go right. And I knew we were going in the wrong direction because the first 2 days I led us through this. And this town, admittedly, was tough to get through because all these streets were crooked and they were on hills. And you couldn't just take a straight line to get where you were going. You had to know how to zig and zag. And so I had been doing that and got us there on time 2 days in a row. But Michael finally said, Jon, I think we can get there faster. Just let me lead the way. So I thought, okay, look, what harm can it do?
Bad mistake. A bad mistake. Oh dear. And we ended up in a construction area where it was all fenced off. And we couldn't get out of it. We were going,
Right.
How did this
We didn't
happen?
know it was
We're right in
fenced
the
off
middle of a
until we were 2
construction,
blocks
yeah.
into it. Yeah. So then we had to turn around and go back. So that put an extra burden on our elderly frames. But then when we got back and Michael went through his recovery, Michael was worried that, maybe this would disqualify him from continuing with the art, song, and story. I would have none of that. I mean, we were either going to do this together or we weren't going to do it. So I said, don't worry about it. So we chose to put the studio down in Ocala, Florida, which is where Michael was living at the time. And that was so that he could be near his doctors and he could recover. And I rented a house down there, and then we found a studio space. And then I really started just working on the studio, buying equipment and cleaning things up, allowing Mike whatever measure of time he needed to recover. And that's how we rolled. And it was wonderful. And so in time, Michael was able to recover, and he came back full bore, and that's when we started scheduling the filming and all of that stuff, and he started building miniatures and all the things that we ended up doing for the show. And so for the next year, we were neck deep, if not eyebrow deep, in this stuff. We were totally immersed in creating the art, song, and story palace. We had some young people working with us. Taylor Michelle, also brilliant, ingenious, talented young man in all kinds of areas.
Right.
Yeah. And then two of my children, Rebecca and John shooting and lighting, and Becca editing and assisting with the shooting. And then we had a young man named Jack who did sound recording and such. And so us two old guys with these youngsters around us, we worked really hard for over a year and creating, scores of episodes for the Art, Song, and Story Palace. And then, of course, we launched it last Christmas, and it took off immediately. And we very rapidly grew up to 80,000 subscribers as we started posting our programming. And it's been very exciting. But it's very expensive, and we haven't made a dime. We haven't made a penny from the Art, Song, and Story Palace. And it's taken $1.5 million to build it to the place that we did. And we've never made a penny off of it. But we sure had a tremendous experience, and for Michael and I to work together again 30 some odd years after Pappyland, and to be able to finish some things that we had started really felt good. I love working with Michael Criglio. Michael Criglio, first of all, is not just a working associate and a creative partner. I mean, I was scribe, he was craftsman, he's sketcher, I'm scribe, he's arty, I'm Maury, but really he's Mike first in my mind, and he's a brother to me. I love Michael, and we have had a very passionate, deeply, intensely emotional relationship for many, many years as two guys that love each other and work really well together. And we have complementary skill sets. And so it just was a blast. And we have so many funny stories along the way, and it made it, some of the best experiences of my entire life. So, I want to make sure I say this during this time in this video, that I love you, brother. And I just couldn't be more proud and more satisfied and more happy with what we've done and achieved together. It's been a blast, and thank you so much for that.
Well, let me piggyback off that. I feel the same way, John. It's you're probably the most creative person I know or have ever met in my lifetime, to be honest with you. I've known a lot of creative people, but you're like you're everything. You know what I mean? You're a creative mind, creative writer, creative with ideas, creative with just putting it all together, and then creating a whole idea in a project, and making that project become a reality. A lot of people, can't do that. I can't do that. I need John, and John needed me, and together we collaborated, and it was like a creative marriage, and it was a wonderful experience. And something, to us, it's not always about money. It's
Right.
about delivering a joyful project and show that the kids and the parents can enjoy and know that it's a safe environment for them. That's the ultimate goal that we wanted to complete. And I think we've done that. And so we're at the stage now where we did complete this project. And it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling knowing that we did it. And we did it on the budget we had, and it's out there. And we just appreciate all of you and who are going to see it in the future and who have already checked out the site at this stage. But thank you again. It's been a wonderful, wonderful journey, John. Thank you. I'm very proud to have worked with you, man.
Well, thank you, Michael. And Michael, of course, is the most creative person I've ever known. I think he's a national treasure, to tell you the truth. So here's the thing. After we launched last Christmas and we hoped to come back, what we were hoping for was that the YouTube channel would get monetized by the YouTube channel. At one point, we were told we only needed so many subscribers and so many watch time hours. Well, we blew that out of the water right away. And had tens of thousands of viewers and several thousand hours of viewing, but Google changed the algorithm, and so we weren't being monetized. And to be monetized on YouTube means that you would receive some compensation from Google because they start running commercials on your programming, and then because we have a lot of subscribers and a lot of viewing time. That means that their advertisements are being viewed, and we're supposed to be compensated for that as children's content producers. Well, we've never received any compensation because the algorithm keeps changing, and we don't blame Google for that. We knew that was one of the risks going in, but we were hopeful that we would, just smash all the barriers anyway and just be popular enough that there would be at least enough monetization that would occur that would allow us to continue to making the programs, because at the end of the day, that's what this really is a gift to our fans and the viewers and to families and their children for safe spaces, for inspiring, enriching, positive value programming for all of us, as especially those of us who have young children in our families, because that's our future. So what happened was, the funding didn't happen, the monetization didn't happen, so we just got really tightened our belts, and for a lot of months we worked for free and spent what money we had left just on the expenses of producing the show. And so we did that, and we're very proud of what we've made, and it's been so much fun. I love playing Maury alongside of Artie on camera, and then just doing the stuff we do. I love sharing stories with the kids. Michael loves sharing all the artwork. It's so much fun. It's so fulfilling. So we've done all that we can. So what we were hoping for is that either more money would arrive or more funding would arrive, or we'd find some way to underwrite this. And so we were hoping that by the time this fall came around, we would be able to do that. Well, there is no funding that's arrived, and there is no monetization that has occurred. But also, in addition to that reality, we've had additional health challenges. I was diagnosed with cancer and had to go through 28 radiation treatments every day for 28 days, and I have to then be on medication now for a 2-year period, which takes me all the way to the end of next year. That particular medication shuts down all of my male hormones, so it really affects my energy levels and my capacity We were working 8, 10, 12-hour work days, day after day after day after day, and, can't do that under these conditions. And then, of course, Michael just shared with you he had yet another incident in which, if not for the presence of other people around him, he would have perished. So it's kind of scary, to have this sword of Damocles hanging over your head that can fall at any time. And it's the realities of getting older and realizing that as much as we feel youthful inside, there are some realities to these houses that we live in. And so what that means is Michael and I have had to make some hard decisions on where we go from here. And the first thing I want to say is that we're not shutting down the Art Song and Story Palace. It's going to continue to run and operate. What we don't know is how much new or additional content or programming will appear, if any at all. We're going to try to do what we can with our current challenges, which are not just financial, they're also physical, as we've mentioned. But we're going to keep the station running and operating, and whatever we can do to continue to enhance it with the limited energy and resources we have, we will do that. But remember, Michael is indeed an artist. He is Artie Wonderpants. He is Pepe Druitt. He is, a painter, a drawer, an illustrator, just a creative soul. I'm a writer, I'm an author, and a creative storyteller. And so, Michael has a store where he sells many of his prints, and I have a store where I sell many of my books. We'll put the links here on our Facebook page for the Art Song and Story in the event you want to be able to see what Mike's doing with his paintings and drawings and other art pieces and creative products. And you can also check my books, and if any of them interest you, you're welcome to purchase from either one of our stores. Those are helpful to us as individual artists. So we will put those links so you know how to stay connected with us and see what else we're doing. Whatever we're doing, whether drawing pictures or writing stories or trying to add to the Art Song and Story Palace content library, it'll be on a, I should say, a smaller scale and to less of an extent in terms of volume, but no less extent in terms of quality and heart that goes into it from both of us. And all of it for the same purpose it's always been, to just create artwork that inspires and motivates and makes people feel good and have hope, safe spaces. So that's what we wanted to reach out and tell you today here on our Facebook page. And we invite you to check out Mike's store, check out my store, keep coming back to this page, and we'll try to keep making posts. We're also going to share more and more of the YouTube channel episodes right here on this Facebook page so that your kids who want to keep drawing with Artie Wonderpants or keep listening to stories from Maury Wonder Story, they can go to YouTube and do that, but they can also do it here. And you might have noticed that YouTube is completely loading up our channel with their commercials. We don't get paid for any of that. So, here you'll get it commercial free. So anything more, Mike, that you want to add at this stage?
Yeah, I want to reiterate that my appreciation for the fans, because you're the essence of what makes this important to us. And I just feel like this journey is not over. I still want to do some small little tidbits for the fans. I was thinking about doing a series of how-to videos about drawing, about art supplies. And, I love entertaining through art, but I think it's time to actually teach the kids some important learning skills about drawing and coloring and painting. So I was thinking about doing a series of small videos, short videos, but yet they're essential because they'll be filled with information and educational aspects about how to create. And so look forward to creating that in the future for all of you fans.
Yeah, it's true. And, and I want to say something here because, you just prompted a thought of mine. I want to mention, there's the reality of the the advancement of AI or artificial intelligent art tools and stuff. And there's a lot of mixed feelings out there, a lot of mixed reviews. Some people are really afraid of it. Some people are, totally embracing it. And, you know, personally, I think, we understand there are some real concerns about, especially if it has to do with plagiarism or stealing other artists' works or, sort of ruining the job market for others that for years make their living doing something that now AI is replacing. There are a lot of issues that one could examine and explore, both pro and con. I just want to address it briefly because I think there is a part for some measure of AI in what we're going to be doing going forward because of all the reasons we've already shared. You know, I still write all my own stuff, and Michael still draws all his own stuff, but to get a little help on animating the story or, um, you know, designing a layout or something and using original artwork from Michael or original storytelling from me, I think that's something we're going to continue to explore because it doesn't cost $1.5 million, such as everything that we did so far has cost, and it doesn't take as much time and it doesn't require. I mean, we've had a team of people working all over the world on Art Song and Story. We've had people from uh, Mexico and from India and from Africa and Zimbabwe specifically. I mean, wonderful artists from all over the world, South Vietnam, and they're wonderful people and everything. But of course, that all costs considerable dollars, and I think the results are there and the quality's there. Going forward, um, Michael and I will be exploring some AI support and assistance to help us continue to bring stuff to the market for you. But he's going to continue to be the artist that he is, and the artwork will be that which originates from Michael, and the storytelling will be that which originates from me on our respective product lines. But I hope that you'll consider it. Mike, for my part, I've been thinking like I've taken some of the drawings you've done with Maury Wonder Story and Artie Wonderpants, and I've been experimenting a little bit to see how they animate using AI tools. Otherwise, it's like $1,000 a minute, and sometimes $1,000 a second, depending on what kind of animation you're doing. But with AI, you can do it right from your desktop, right at your home office. We can take like the characters you've drawn, put them into the stories that I've written or that we've written together, or whatever it is, and then have them animated, and then we can sort of direct that and tweak that through adding more image prompts and adding more text prompts. Michael tends to do a lot with image prompts, as you might imagine, and I tend to do things with text prompts, as you might imagine, Sketcher and Scribe, right? Um, but these tools have been helpful, and they will help us to get a little more content coming forth, given the limitations that we have these days and the constraints that we've described already. But Mike, I was looking at some of the drawings you did, and I experimented with the animation, and I found that an animated Maury and an animated Artie, they can be a lot of fun, and maybe there are some little vignettes and things we can still yet explore and bring. I don't think we're promising that at this point, but I can tell you that as the creative souls that we are, and whatever life and health and strength we have left, we'll be putting our hearts and souls on that and seeing what we might be able to come up with. All
Well,
right, well, I think we should close this, but Michael, I'm going to give you the chance to close out.
all right.
And
I just
anything you want to add.
Yeah, I have a question, John. Is there a way that the parents could contact us? Because I would like to ask them, what do you consider the right elements or visuals that you would want your children to see and experience? Is it on an educational level or is it on an entertainment level? In other words, do you
Mhm.
want children to learn things, or do you just want us to kind of create content that's just entertaining and fun? And I know that it's probably a combination of both, but
Mhm.
I think it'd be wonderful if we could hear from you directly and give us some suggestions on what you think that your children in general would really enjoy the best or the most.
Well, that's a beautiful thought, Mike. And so I would say, the easiest way is right here on this Facebook page. Leave your comments and let us know your thoughts. And
Excellent.
and if we can do anything about it, our commitment is we're going to try. Um, but the realities are what they are, and we wanted to let you know them because we didn't want to disappoint you, and we didn't want to leave you with questions as to what happened. Where's season 2? So we've been honest and transparent with you. We've put it all out there, even our own personal information, because we love you. We love your fanhood. You've been so great to us. Your support, your encouragement. I mean, the emails and the letters that we've gotten over the years, not just even recently, but especially recently, they've been so positive. And you guys have celebrated the works that we've shared with you. And boy, that just blesses our hearts. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you
And
for
Mike,
sharing the journey. I agree. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. And Michael, I love you. Michael and I are going to stay in touch. I'm up in Maine, he's down in Florida, but we talk at least once a week. We Zoom together and keep our spirits lifted and just enjoy our friendship and our families immensely. So we wish you the best. We wish you good health, that you would prosper even as your soul prospers. And we hope to remain connected with you in all the ways that this platform helps us to stay connected. And we hope that the fruit of our labors is something that's enriching and joyful and positive for you and your household.
Thank you so much for visiting us today.
Bye-bye now.